I mean, at the end of the day, as I've talked about in my second book, Mastering Yourself, I talk about self-reliance and that, when you look at the words of our founding fathers, the whole concept was they expected the whole body of the American people to be armed. That means like everybody. They wanted everybody to be armed. That's why they called it the militia of the people. It wasn't if you look at the Second Amendment, it didn't say the right of the government to keep and bear arms. It said the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And when you read the words of the individual founding fathers, like we talked about in the documentary that I did, the Second Amendment, that's the way they looked at it. It's like every single person who was enabled, I think it was 17 and up, like the way the
Right.
law is, 17 and up, all males to, basically all able-bodied males are expected to be competent to bear arms, meaning they have basic training, they understand how to use it, understanding basic gun safety, tactics, just in case we ever got invaded, that the people, the whole body of the American people, would be armed. So maybe you guys can kind of talk about like your perspective.
Well, that
on that.
right away reminds me of old saying by famously known by Admiral Yamamoto. Awaken a sleeping giant, and there'll be a rifle behind every blade of grass, and that is really what kind of kept them from both Germany and Japan from just all-out invasion, because they knew that the populace was armed, and
it's the largest private army in the world.
And Russia
90
has
million
also
people. It's bigger than all the armies of the world combined. That's how big the militia of the people, if you will, the whole body of the American people. There's over, last year's statistics were like, I think it was like 90 million Americans have arms. And just last month, the stats were over 2 million people. There were over 2 million guns sold last month. And that was the month of January in 2021. How many of those people were first-time gun owners?
Over the last year, 2020, I think we had over 3 million new gun owners. That's three. So we had like three. Yeah, we had like over 3 million or more new gun owners. So it's like people who'd never had a background check and new gun, and that's part of the issue with ammo shortage right now. But I don't want to go into that. But you figure every new gun owner and each one buys 100 rounds. That's a lot of rounds. So, but anyway, that said, yeah, it's imperative for as what's made us what we are today, because our enemies had stayed at bay because they know exactly that, because of our Second Amendment, and also our own government has stayed away to its point. But I'm me personally, I'm a believer that every gun law is an infringement, and I'm sorry, but the people, the point of the Second Amendment, of course, has nothing to do with hunting. It's so you can defend against a tyrannical government.
Yep,
and
a government that's become tyrannical.
The people should have access to the same arms that the government should.
Because Americans are the equals of their government, and therefore people say, well, you shouldn't have the same arms as the military. It's like the American people are equals of the government. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the richest politician, or like you look at Donald Trump, a billionaire who became president. It doesn't matter if you got like $5 in your pocket. You are equal to Donald Trump. You're equal to the guy that's chief of staff of the army. The American people are the ones. It's government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And so therefore, they wanted everybody to have the same capabilities as the government had. because when the founding fathers looked at all of human history, all the democracies, who was it, Benjamin Franklin, or maybe it was Thomas Jefferson? They noted that all democracies that had ever existed murdered themselves. So at some point, they all became tyrannical. And that's why, as a last resort, the real reason why the American people have guns is to defend themselves against a government that has become tyrannical. When you look at socialism or communism or even Nazi Germany, anytime they banned the guns, eventually the government started murdering their citizens. Venezuela, the most recent example.